What up, everybody? This is your boy Dedrian Cologne from House of Rasslin, and this is my review for the June 22nd episode of AEW Dynamite. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow House of Rasslin on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Whoo boy, tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite, man, I gotta say this was a very fun episode of AEW Dynamite. I enjoyed it. There were moments that I could tell, it was just like, it was kind of like clunky, but overall, man, this was fun. This was a fun build to AEW New Japan Forbidden Door, which I am excited to attend because it is going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll get into who is going to be appearing on Forbidden Door. And of course, going into this episode of AEW Dynamite, the big question was, who is Jay White's opponent going to be at Forbidden Door? Is Daniel Bryan going to be participating at Forbidden Door? Like, there was just so many things that was happening, and just where is this going to go and that going to go? In spite of the injuries and just crazy things happening, the AAA and CMML not wanting the Lucha guys to, like, just crazy stuff happening. Overall, the way I look at it, this card is pretty solid in spite of all the things that have gone on. Mind you, this is the first one of probably many that they're going to do. So this is more just like a test run, like, hey, let's see how we could do this. They already have $1 million gate for this Sunday's Forbidden Door pay-per-view. So, hey, let's go for the ride. So, interesting thing, Dynamite did a recap of last week of things that went. I was like, man, this is new and different. All right, this is cool. I like that. I like it more so because one of the issues that a lot of people had when AEW first started, and just here and there in the past 3 years, is that they don't really go back and tell what's, the stories, like what happened, how did they get here or anything. So this was a nice, quick way to bring everybody up to speed of what's going on. If you missed last week or so on and so on, this was a nice way to introduce it. Then Daniel Bryan, everybody still does it. Bryan Danielson. He comes out to Tony Schiavone, interviewing him. He says this week is a great week for AEW. It's a great week for pro wrestling. This is a pay-per-view that is, has two of the best wrestling companies in the world. He mentions, a week from today, we're going to see Blood and Guts. Then he says he has good news, bad news. Basically, he's not cleared to compete for Forbidden Door and Blood and Guts. He has a replacement, but he's not going to tell who. There's so many names that have been name dropped as far as who could be Bryan Danielson's replacement. Me personally, I think it's Jonathan Gresham because he's been out for a while since he had the concussion issue. So maybe he's cleared. That's the one I'm actually leaning towards. That's a strong favorite. Of course, other people are saying Johnny Gargano. Then, of course, other people are saying Cesaro. That could be it. It could be any of those three, but I'm looking forward to it. It's cool. What I like about this, because after Daniel Bryan said that, Zack Sabre Jr. came out and they did the pointing and talking and stuff like that. And Daniel Bryan in his promo, he did mention, like, eventually there will be one day that I will show him who's the best in the world. But I do like that there's a mystery to who Zack Sabre Jr. is facing, because it's probably going to be not too high on the card, but just one of those things where it's just like, everyone's focused on Okada. I just mentioned that. The IWGP Championship, the 4-man, the All-Atlantic Championship, the IWGP US Championship match with Ospreay and Orange Cassidy. So this one, what I like about it is that if it is Jonathan Gresham, if it is Johnny Gargano, if it is Cesaro, us, the fans, will not be disappointed who are attending. This is going to be so much fun. And I'm looking forward to it. So whoever Zack Sabre Jr. is facing, that is going to be a fun match. It's going to be a banger match. I'm geeked for it because I am going to Forbidden Door, which, oh man, this is going to be dope. Then we get a promo by Jon Moxley. He's hyping up this Sunday his match with Tanahashi for the interim AEW Championship. And then he's also pretty much promoting the main event, which is going to be Moxley and Tanahashi versus Archer and Chris Jericho. I like this promo. Moxley's promos, I love. It's authentic. He's himself. And a sidebar, I know this is an AEW review, but I tweeted this. Seth Rollins and Jon Moxley have been the backbone of WWE Raw and AEW this year. Hands down, these guys have been killing it, and give them their flowers, man, because they are the backbone of both these companies. Then we go to a trios match, which is Orange Cassidy and Roppongi Vice versus Ospreay and Aussie Open. It started off early in the match. For me, it started off kind of slow, and it just felt like something wasn't. Like the fans were waiting for something. They were like, it was just like a disconnect. Something was like, everything wasn't fluid. There you go. And it was just like, okay, this is. Then halfway through the match, it kicked off. It was fast paced. A lot of great spots with Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay. Of course, Orange Cassidy and Roppongi Vice won. So I don't know if Will Ospreay and them Will Ospreay is gonna beat Orange Cassidy, which more than likely that's probably gonna be the case. But this is a pretty cool matchup that happened. And then of course Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb come out, so you have this numbers game, strength in numbers with the United Empire, and you have Roppongi Vice and Orange Cassidy. They're looking on, and then FTR's music hits. They come on. We have this face off between United Empire and the FTR, Roppongi Vice, and Orange Cassidy. And shout out to the Milwaukee crowd. Every segment that was, you could say it was designed for a reaction, the crowd reacted. And they did so well, man. Kudos to that crowd. They really, if people go back and watch it, it's like, okay, man, maybe I should tune into Forbidden Door. It's like, man, this got my interest peaked. From there, we get a backstage segment with Sanam Singh, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt. I hope they get this segment over. Like this whole Samoa Joe's, Jay Lethal, I just hope they finish it. It's just it's boring, it's bland, it's just not engaging. And also, we're kind of seeing the same thing in WWE with Omos. So, okay, and we're kind of seeing not something similar, but just at a higher level with Walter and Ludwig Kaiser. So it's like we're kind of seeing this already in other promotions. This isn't something that is unique and really getting people's interest, in this. Hopefully it's it's over soon, because Samoa Joe should be doing something more than Sanam Singh and this Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt feud. And it's no diss to Sanam Singh, Jay Lethal, and Sanjay Dutt. It's just, it's not clicking. Like, it just doesn't connect. For me, it doesn't connect, and I know for many other people, it just doesn't connect. And it's like, okay, Jay Lethal has his thing with the crowd and the fans because of a lot of stuff that happened in Ring of Honor. So that just adds to it. But man, it's just like, just do something else, man. Just, you go your way, let Samoa Joe go his way, and just, go there. Then we get probably the promo of the month, and probably one of the best promos, one of the most talked about promos, I'll say that. One of the most talked about promos this year. Christian Cage Yeah, he's full blown on heel. The way he kind of took a shot at MJF, which is going to be interesting. What happens with MJF and how that plays in, it's going to be interesting. So there was the "shut the fuck up" chants. He basically said, people who thought I came here to train the younger generation and help and mold them, BS. I came here to make money, a ton of money. He gave this advice that if you want people to talk about, what was it? If you want people to talk about your match for more than a week, then do what I did. Which I thought that was an excellent line, because there's one of the biggest issues that people raise about AEW is that a lot of times the matches are just talked about for a week and then that's it. Then he says, I'm going to take control. He gave a diss at Jungle Boy. Like, he talked about his dad being dead. Like, whoa. And of course, if you've watched wrestling for over 20 years, certain things don't get said unless it's cleared by the person that is in the feud. So for me, I had no issue with it. For one, let's face it, people on Twitter say even worse things than that. And if we're going to get butthurt about that, come on, man. It's, they had to get the okay to say something like this. And of course, there's people, I just don't like it. And granted, that's subjective. You may not like it. Other people may not have an issue with it. I do know that by Christian Cage saying that and saying all the stuff he did about Jungle Boy, he is going to get his ass beat by Jungle Boy, which is going to be dope, which is the whole point of it, for him to get his ass beat. But the interesting thing about this situation is, as he's running down Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus comes out and he chokes Christian, and Christian's like, hey, let's talk about it. He's like, remember what happened to Marco? You're like a son to me. And then he lets go of him. He's like, let's talk. And Christian has this sinister smirk. Like, Christian is such a good heel, man. And I think we forgot how much of a good heel he was, especially back in 2005 when he was Captain Charisma and he had that brief feud with John Cena, which was so... Man, they missed the boat on that. But it's interesting where this is going to go as far as Christian Cage and Luchasaurus. I hope it involves freaking Luchasaurus removing his mask and just being himself. And most people don't know or remember that the guy who is Luchasaurus was in NXT. So if he is some remnants, just a modern version, an updated version of that, man, that's going to be slick. And I think it's long overdue, because it does feel like the Luchasaurus character has run its course, where it's like, okay, there should be something new. And the same thing with Jungle Boy. Like, I like what someone tweeted, I think it was last week. They said Jungle Boy should change his name from Jungle Boy to Jungle Man. Jungle Man Jack Perry. And that makes a lot of sense, because he's not a boy, he's a man. So I think this whole feud is going to elevate Luchasaurus to another level and just a different twist to his character. Same thing with Jungle Boy and hopefully Jungle Man Jack Perry. So it's going to be interesting how this plays out. But Christian Cage as a heel in AEW, oh boy, this is going to be a ride, man. And if there's somewhere down the line we get an MJF Christian confrontation, that is going to be memorable, man. Then we get a backstage segment with the Young Bucks and Kyle O'Reilly. What I liked about this was that Young Bucks are going to be Bullet Club for one night only. So there's a lot of questions with this Bullet Club, Undisputed Elite whole dynamic, especially what played out later on. So Young Bucks announced they're going to be Bullet Club one night only. So you're going to get Hikuleo and El Phantasmo, and they're going to face Sting and two partners of their choosing, which they announced later, which I'll get to. So I'm looking forward to it because, hey, I get to see Sting in a New Japan match, which is, now that I look back, when they announced, I was like, oh, cool, it's Sting. But then after thinking, I was like, man, you know what? That's actually cool to have Sting in this event, because let's face it, when was the last time Sting was involved in a New Japan match? You're talking about like 96 with the Great Muta against the Steiners. Yeah, I believe that was 96. So 1996, not like, come on, man. This is actually a really cool, another thing to add to Sting's last run before, he retires. And, it's going to make me sad because Sting has been one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I just loved his work, his character, his energy, his excitement. He's just so damn cool. But that's going to be cool. The Young Bucks and Hikuleo and El Fantasma versus Sting. Darby Allin, you know what? I'll mention it right now. So it's going to be Sting, Shingo Takada, and Hiromu Ishii. Man, I forgot his name. Hiromu. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to hack up any of these guys' names from Japan. So that's going to be an interesting match, how that plays out. Sting's going old school. He's going to be at the New Japan Forbidden Door pay-per-view, which I am excited about that. Then we had Malachi Black versus Penta. The crazy part of this match, Penta did a over-the-top flip on Malachi Black, and it looked like he landed on his tailbone, and he was favoring it during the match. I hope there's nothing wrong with Penta, because it just seems like the whole wrestling industry, there is a freaking injury bug on the whole, like, it's not a company, it is the industry. There is a freaking injury bug or something, man. It's crazy what's going on. He was favoring it during his back. This was a pretty solid match. And you kind of did get an idea of who was going to win, considering that Penta, Andrade, Rey Fenix, most of the guys that have performed for AAA aren't going to be on the Forbidden Door pay-per-view because of the whole agreement that New Japan has with CMLL, and they don't want AAA guys there, so it's just a lot of backstage politics. But in the end, Malachi Black wins. He won with the Avalanche, Fear Factor. Then we get Pac running down to the ring, and then as Pac is checking on Penta and looking at Malachi Black, you get Miro with a freaking insane promo. This fatal four-way, or this four-way match, is going to be dope. It is going to be Miro, Pac, Malachi Black, and Tomohiro Ishii. Whew, man, this is going to be dope. This is going to be fun. So Miro, he gives a promo saying that, I like this because he's like, this Sunday, I'm going to send all of you back to your maker, and when you see him, tell him I'm angry with him. Like, damn. Like, Miro's back. This is fun. This is I haven't mentioned this in a while about AEW, but this is the intensity, the feistiness, the aggression, just that intangible that you get drawn, like, okay, I know this is scripted, but I don't know about that. Like, And I think that's where AEW is lacking. They don't have more of those. I know this is scripted, but I don't know about that. They have very few of those, and they just have a lot of, well, no, this is something like, ooh, this is real good. Then we get a match between Silas Young and Hangman Page. It was cool to see Silas Young. I remember seeing Silas Young at the Berwyn Eagles Club in Cicero, Illinois. And it's a famous for independent wrestling. It's well known. Eddie Kingston, I had a chance to see him there. This was in 2014. So it was cool to see Silas Young against Hangman Page. This was a fight, man. This was a fight. There was a cool spot where Silas Young attempted to do the standing headstand on the top turnbuckle. he bounced his legs off the top turnbuckle, tried to do a flip. You could tell he kind of stumbled and everything. Hangman Page got the clothesline. Then he wound up doing the lariat that he does, his finishing move. I forgot his name. Forgive me, guys. It's been a long day. Pins him 1, 2, 3. And the interesting thing about this match, and this might be something people need to pay attention to. In the crowd, you saw Kip Sabian with Okay, so you saw Kip Sabian with a bag over his head, and it kept for some reason they kept showing him during this match. I don't know if this is something that might happen or will happen because he's been ready. I don't know if this is just something like a shock or something. What if Kip Sabian joins the Bullet Club? Just saying. He ain't doing anything. So you get Hangman Page. He wins. Then you get Adam Cole. He comes out. He's talking and stuff to him. And then you get Jay White. They come down. They start attacking him. Then you have... so mind you, while he's getting attacked let me backtrack. So while Jay White is coming out, he's like, hey, you lost to... He looks at Adam Cole. He's like, yeah, you lost to Adam Page twice. And he's like, who will be my opponent? You're just going to have to wait and see. Starts beating up Hangman Page. Adam Cole comes and he tries to hit him. He has the IWGP title, and Jay White's like, oh, he looks at me like, oh, you're trying to hit me. He's like, no, bring him up. All of a sudden, coin flip. Yes. Coin flip. Kazuchika Okada arrived in AEW. Yes. Kazuchika Okada. Yes. Okada arrived in AEW. Man, oh man, that crowd went crazy for that guy. That pop was some good stuff, man. I am happy for him. I'm happy because he's one of the top stars in AEW, and he showed up, and he really, they gave him an ovation, and it's a good sign because there's a lot of people who watch AEW aren't familiar with a lot of these guys. So, granted, right now it's like, who are these guys? What are why? It's like, okay, but after seeing them wrestle, you got a lot of people are gonna be like, ooh, okay, this guy's good. But man, I love this. This was so damn cool. He helped Hangman Page. Then it was later announced that we're going to get Jay White. We're going to get Kazuchika Okada, Hangman Page, and Adam Cole for the IWGP title. So we're going to get a 4-way for the IWGP World title. That is the main event. That is going to be... Whew! I am excited because I finally get to see Okada in a match. This is going to be so damn fun, man. I cannot wait. Okada and AEW. This is fun. I really like where this is going. And also, don't forget, you got Bullet Club and Impact. So this is fun because you're going to get this involvement with Impact somewhere down the line. Then, of course, with AAA, hopefully they sort this thing out with CMLL and that whole thing. So we'll see what happens. I know Conan mentioned that because he's the head promoter and everything, they have no issue with AAA guys working with New Japan. So it's all on CMLL and them. No, we have them. We don't want you guys. So that whole thing, hopefully they'll work that out soon. But man, that was a moment to see Okada in AEW and the pop that he received, man. This was so cool. Then we get a backstage segment with Jade Cargill and the baddies. They're talking about they're looking for a baddie. Email. Stokely Hathaway is freaking hilarious, man. This guy, he mentions, hey, we're children of God. Keep it PG. Like, what? And then, of course, Jade Cargill made a crack at Athena, keep it 1 And it's like, oh, God. But, man, this whole dynamic of Jade Cargill and Stokely Hathaway with the baddies has been home run. They hit a home run with this. I just wish everything else on AEW would align with this, including the women's division. Just align, and just because they got some good stuff here, but they just got to keep the momentum going. Injuries permitted, keep it going. But I enjoyed this segment, man. Watch this over again. Man, Stokely Hathaway going to AEW has been one of their best signings so far, man. Like, he has been a home run. And it's not talked about a lot, but it should be, because, man, he's doing a good job. Then they go to commercial. They come back. You got Chris Statlander and Athena. And Chris Statlander, this is freaking hilarious. She's like, yeah, Stokely Hathaway got involved, and, you know what happened last time. She smacks him. He's like, yeah, when he smacked him upside the head. So I love the continuity of the little things in this promo. And I think that's one issue that AEW is going to improve and should keep improving, is attention to detail and references to the small things. Because it's like, ooh, wow, you're really, like, if you pay attention to the small things, that means you're very detailed, and fans get like, oh, okay, so they're really, okay, this is, all right, okay, man, they can get hooked onto a storyline. Then we had Marina Shafir with Nyla Rose versus Toni Storm, which was pretty interesting. This was a mat wrestling match. I was surprised to see Marina Shafir. I wouldn't say Marina Shafir. I was surprised to see it have this much mat wrestling with Toni Storm and Marina Shafir. But I enjoyed this match, man. This was fun. These ladies are getting down, and it's crazy because Marina Shafir and Toni Storm were in NXT last year. And they're shining now in AEW. Me personally, I know a lot of people are really not feeling Marina Shafir's gimmick. I enjoy Marina Shafir's gimmick. She reminds me of Tori from that was with X-Pac and D-Generation X. She reminds me of her, and like a combination of like Shayna Baszler, because I know she has that MMA background, so she has that combo, and like she's a threat, man. I like her look. I love everything. Her total package, man. She's fun to watch, man, because she does have some like technical holes. Like, ooh, man, that's so damn good. Like, man, this is. And I guess for me, because I'm a fan of like, I enjoy technical wrestling and just putting people in holds and like just the continuity and the story. Like, man, I love that. So I'm a sucker for it. I like it. Then, there was a DDT on an outside that Toni Storm did on Marina Shafir. It was a spinning DDT. It was like nasty. But in the end, Toni Storm, she wins. The post-match, you had Nyla Rose attack Toni Storm. Then Marina Shafir, they're attacking. Then Thunder Rosa comes out. And, man, she gave Marina Shafir a nasty drop kick to the back. Like, damn. Too intense. Hopefully she's not injured or anything, because it's like, man, like, I don't know what's up with these injuries in all of wrestling. I think, and this is a side note, I think what's happening with a lot of these injuries in professional wrestling, maybe it's life, the universe, the good Lord telling these guys to take it back a notch, slow it down. The fans are invested. Just, I don't know, maybe. Just take it. Not. They're with you. Take it. Just go. Just take that nice pace. They're going to be there at the destination. Just take it. But yeah, this was crazy. Toni Storm used the belt on Nyla Rose. Again, we're getting Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm at Forbidden Door. And a lot of people who have an issue like, oh, there's not a person from Stardom. There's a lot of technicalities and just things that, it's people. This ain't easy pulling this event off, especially when you're dealing in another promotion in another country. You got to fly in talent. Plus, Stardom has a show the night before. So, I mean, come on. Plus, people forget Toni Storm has history in Stardom. So it's like overseas, like, come on, man. So it's more, I look at it like they're paying homage to Toni Storm's history in Stardom, where, okay, we know you came from WWE, but now this is really tapping into Toni Storm's history in Japan. So I like that. Really cool. Then we get backstage segment with Sting and Darby Allin. They announce who their tag team partners are. Like I said, Shingo Takada and Hiromu. Hey, we get to see Sting at Forbidden Door in the United Center in Chicago. I'm happy because I'm going, and Sting is my favorite wrestler, one of my favorite wrestlers. So this is going to be fun. That crowd in Chicago with Sting wrestling, he is going to get a freaking humongous pop with that crowd, man. Side note, I had the privilege of seeing Sting propel from the rafters. The first time he propelled from the rafters was at the United Center in January of 1997. He came down from the rafters, confronted Macho Man. I was 14 years old when I saw that, and to see him there, man, this is so cool. I'm excited. Then we get a backstage segment with Phoenix and Andrade. They're promoting their match at Rampage. So Rampage, we're getting Rey Fenix and Andrade. We're getting Serena Deeb and Mercedes. We're getting OKC and Hook. That's what the name was. And then we're getting Jeff Cobb versus Dax Hardwood. That should be good. The one thing I did notice about the Sting Darby Allin team name, and it's a callback to the name that they had for, oh my God, what was it? Wrestle War 92? Dudes with that? No, that was Scorpion. Dudes with Attitudes. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. Forgive me, guys. Not Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels. Forgive me. I'm surprised they're able to use that name. But so you had that with Phoenix. Then you had Jericho and Archer versus Moxley and Tanahashi. This was actually reminiscent of the Kenta Omega versus Moxley and Lance Archer match last year, where it was a Falls Count Anywhere in Jacksonville. This was kind of reminiscent of that. It had the same vibe. For me, it had the same vibe. There was a large Tanahashi chant, like it was loud, man. There was a point where Jericho performed the Rolling Boston Crab on Tanahashi. Tanahashi performed the Frog Splash. 1, 2, 3. They win. Okay, so this is where things get crazy. Eddie Kingston comes down. He attacks Jericho. Then, mind you, Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti's down there. So they're attacking. Then Yuta comes down. Then Minoru Suzuki. Yes, Minoru Suzuki comes. He's beating up freaking William Yuta. Then Santana Ortiz come out. Chaos comes out there. It's just total chaos. And in the middle of the ring, you have Moxley and Tanahashi just staring at each other, talking crap about their match next Sunday. And then it goes to black. So that was Dynamite. Like I said, this was a fun Dynamite. You can tell just by the flow of the show and just the way everything played out, you can tell there's an anticipation, not only an anticipation, but a strong enthusiasm about Sunday. And you could feel it with the matches, the vibe, the intensity with the promos, the mood, you felt it. And I'm excited, man. I am excited. Like I said, I'm interested to see what is going to happen in this main event, because you have the Young Bucks being Bullet Club for one night only. You have Jay White, Okada, Hangman Page. I've been saying it for a while, and you guys who watch my reviews know something is going to happen with Bullet Club at Forbidden Door. Something. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's going to be Jay White being removed as Bullet Club leader, but then again, anything can happen, especially with New Japan side. Something is going to happen with Bullet Club. Is Omega returning? I don't know, but something is happening this Sunday with Bullet Club. I think it's going to happen. I don't know. We'll see. But I am strongly excited for Forbidden Door this Sunday. I'm geeked. I'm going there. If you guys who watch this are going to Forbidden Door, shoot me a DM or something like that, or like, hey, what's up? Yeah. Hey, I'll be there at Forbidden Door. But like I said, something's gonna happen at Forbidden Door, whether it's Bullet Club or something else. But man, I'm excited for it, and this was a fun show leading up to Forbidden Door this Sunday, and we'll see what happens. But I like the enthusiasm that AEW had in tonight's show. We haven't had that in quite a while. Hopefully these people that are injured get well soon, and we get some good action and for the summer. But we'll see what happens. But man, this is gonna be a fun pay-per-view, man. This is gonna be a fun pay-per-view, and with all the New Japan talent being initially debuted, and honestly, you know what? Here's something to think about, and I'm gonna go an extra few minutes. Usually I would cut off at this time. The way AEW introduced the New Japan stars, and of course people were like, well, it was lackluster, it was this, it was that, it was, oh yeah, it's for those that know New Japan. Here's the thing. When when WCW introduced the Cruiserweights from Japan, Mexico, guess what? They kind of got the same thing, but you know what happened? When they started having these matches, people are like, oh shit, I need to watch this. These dudes are bad. Like, who the hell's Rey Mysterio? Who's Ultimo Dragon? Who's Dean Malenko? Chris Jericho? Like, who's the... Man, who are these? Juventud Guerrero? Like, Masahiro Chono? Like, whoa, who are these guys? And I know many was like, yeah, people like, no. ECW, most of those guys were in ECW, and guess what? ECW wasn't in every city or anything. Like, I know in Chicago we didn't get it. For at least I didn't see it. So you didn't know less of these guys unless you had a Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine. So, but we'll see where this goes with AEW New Japan and the talent, the talents being on TV and stuff like that for Dynamite. But I enjoyed this show and probably going to watch it again before Forbidden Door. But that is my review for the 6th June 22nd episode of AEW Dynamite. Like, share, comment, subscribe, follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And people, like I always say, stop fighting over wrestling, man. There's a lot of serious stuff going on in the world. For a couple hours, let us relax, enjoy, and just enjoy wrestling, man. All right. With that,